Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the RNN Diecast Review Flashback Friday right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below and hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's edition of the Diecast Review Flashback Friday, as you can see with the box in front of you, we're looking at Jeff Gordon's 1994 number 24 DuPont Chevy Lumina, a NASCAR Classics release from Lionel back a few years ago. So let's take a look at the box. Good render of the car here on the top of the box. Stats on the race here on one side of the box. You can pause that if you want to read about the race. NASCAR Classics logo on one side. The back, what would typically be the front of the race car, just stats on the race. And then production sticker on this side, one of 1,753 of these made in the ARC Platinum Series line. All right, so the only thing that comes in the box is a one-sided race card, which is pretty typical for these NASCAR Classics releases. You don't get the front and back like you do for the current races, but it does have the stats of the race, the same stats that were on the one side of the box. This, of course, being Jeff Gordon's second career, at the time, Winston Cup Series victory. The card says Sprint Cup victory, which was correct at the time of production, is not correct anymore. Now it would be Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series victory. Couple of big races Jeff Gordon started his career with, of course, went winless in his rookie season in '93 and then won his first race in '94 at the Coca-Cola 600 and then backed it up with his second and final win of '94 in the first Brickyard 400 at the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All right, so let's take a look at the car itself in all of its Chevy Lumina glory. Take a look at it. It is hood and trunk open. Hood opens very easily, but also does not want to stay open. Nothing under the hood here. Pretty good detail here under the engine. I see a lot of shininess down there. A lot of reflective metals and such down there. Wasn't really sure what to call it for a second. See, move my finger and boom, snap all the way down. All right, Chevy Lumina nose here on the front. Nothing in terms of sticker-wise here except for the number 24 on the hood, DuPont and Chevy, the famous rainbow paint scheme. 24 on the roof. Nothing on the deck lid. It is DIN number 1576. Now the driver's side here are lots of contingency sponsors back in NASCAR's heyday. Hard plastic window net, Jeff Gordon's autograph on the name rail, AC on the B post, Pyroil on the C post. A lot of team sponsors back here in front of the right rear tire. DuPont Automotive Finishes, Valvoline. On the back bumper, Valvoline, DuPont Automotive Finishes, Chevy, and the number 24. And the passenger side looks relatively similar to the driver's side, and of course, opposable front wheels. All right, so that's our look at the Jeff Gordon 1994 Brickyard 400 win, the first win for Jeff Gordon at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we're going to continue with this trend next week on Flashback Friday, and we're going to look at Gordon's final Brickyard 400 victory in 2014. So, keeping with the Jeff Gordon theme next week, I think we'll have a really good contrast here. Obviously, two very different cars. You go from the Gen 3 car here with this Chevy Lumina to the Gen 6 car that he won in 2014 with. So, some very stark differences that I think we'll be comparing next week with these two cars as well. It ought to be fun. But we talked about it on the normal Diecast review on Wednesday. Coming up on this next Wednesday on the normal Diecast review, we're looking at Kyle Larson's 2018 Xfinity Series Las Vegas spring win. So be sure to check that one out if that's one you like to see, that really nice DC solar scheme. So got that coming up for you, as well as, of course, RNN news throughout the week as silly season continues to heat up here. We got basically everything at this point lined out for the Cup Series, but the lower series still filling in exactly who's going to be where. So got lots of announcements that have been coming out recently for that. So we've had a good amount of RNN news to keep up on lately. But I think that'll do it for this week's Diecast Review Flashback Friday. So if you haven't done it already, go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. And while you're down there, hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the RNN Diecast Review Flashback Friday. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.